we're going to have a look at your arm movements. So I'm going to go over Laban's 8 efforts. It's just going to break you away from a very standard kind of arm movement and get you to play around with some different types of arm movements that Laban can cover. So it's just fun to play around with and know what they are. But the very first thing I want to talk to you about is coordination, because quite often we're so busy thinking of our feet that the arms are just too much to compute. So my first bit of advice is to definitely know what you're going to do with your feet before you start. So as a little exercise, I get my skaters to do cross rolls. So it's a very simple step while we play around with arms. So before I get into Laban's 8 efforts, we're going to show you some very simple arms that I like to use, which is middle, middle, over, over, under, under. Okay, with every crossover step, you'll do a new arm. So we have middle, middle, over, over, under, under. You can do both middle, both over, both under. Okay, just good to play around with for coordination. How to turn an arm movement into a full body movement. As a general tip, I tell my skaters to watch their hand and let their body follow where that's going. So we do the same one again. Middle, middle, over, over, under, under. Now you have a full body movement from the same arm. So Laban's 8 efforts revolve around 4 theories of all movements travel through time, space, weight and flow. Okay, so time is very simply fast or slow. Weight is heavy or light. Flow and energy is whether they are bound, as in like if you think about resistance, pushing through something thick or having a resistance pulling it back, or whether they are free with no ties, no bounds, nothing stopping or resisting the movement. And then space is whether it is direct and it has a line of travel, or indirect and it can just move freely around a space. Okay, so weight, space, time and energy or flow. I just wanted to show you quickly so you can have a little play around with these movements. So we're going to do 2 a day this week and you can have a little play with each 2. I'm literally going to go down the list that Laban lists them in order. Is the punch. Okay, so if you think of it like a punch, it's direct because it's on one line of travel, it's quick and it's bound by the weight of the punch. Okay, so punch now it doesn't just have to be a punch of a hand, it can be a punch with your leg, so the same kind of move, I guess you could call that a kick. Same with your head, can be that kind of punchy move. Doesn't have to be with a fist, like I'm gonna be a punch with a fist. As soon as you say punch you think that, but this can be with any fingers that you like, or feet. Okay, that's a punchy movement. Okay, and the next one down is a press. I'm sure you've all seen these in some programs before. It's almost like you're pushing something along, so it's a very heavy movement. You feel like you're pushing, 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 pushing things away. Okay, that's our press. So that has a direct line of travel, very heavy, very bound, it has resistance there. Okay, so punch and press. Have a little play. Okay, Laban's 8 efforts. We're going to do slash and ring. Okay, so slash, it's a fast movement, slash of the arm. Here can also be with the legs. A slash with the head, a slash, fast, that's slash. a ring. And if you imagine like wringing out your dishcloth or a towel at home, so this movement is very much wringing, pulling in, wringing, 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 wringing the legs, with the body, wring, okay? So wring, slash. There are efforts for today. Okay, today's two efforts are the dab and the glide. And no, it's not this dab. Dab is a very light movement. If you imagine kind of floaty typewriting, dabbing, this is dabbing. You can dab with your feet. You can dab with your head. Dab, 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 dab. Okay, this is our dab, which is very light, very direct, very quick, and it's also free. It can go anywhere. It's not bound in its direction. Okay, now glide. If you imagine a plane or a bird gliding, okay, it's a slow speed. It's very light. It's not as fast as the slash that we did. Okay, so this is a slow one. And it's free. Your arm can glide anywhere. Okay, it's a bit like the ones we did on the warm-up. Same with the leg. Glide, glide, glide. Okay, so dab and glide. Have a play. Okay, today's efforts are the flick and the float. Okay, so the flick, very quick, very indirect. You can flick it with your feet. Flick, 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 flicky head, flicky hands. That's the flick, okay? And the float is very floaty. If you imagine a feather blowing in the wind, this is our float. Okay, very floaty, indirect, it can go anywhere it likes, very light. This is the fun one, floaty, floaty. Okay, so flick and float. Have a play. One more thing to try, called an echo. So this is when you take a move and then you echo it with your body, and then you might echo it again with your head. So you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you can add as many echoes as you want. It might just be one. It could be many echoes to get you in the same place. Okay, echo, 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 echo. It's just making the movement continue in the same direction. Echo, 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 echo.